Hold on, sir. I just need to ask you something real quick.
Sure, officer. What seems to be the issue?
That little girl with you, who does she belong to?
She's my daughter.
You expect me to believe she's yours?
I can show you my ID.
Don't make any sudden moves. Keep your hands where I can see them. You're not her father. Just look at you. Where did you get her? So tell me, I'm not going to repeat myself.
The very first thing Sophie noticed wasn't the birds overhead. It wasn't the giggles from the playground. It wasn't even the cheerful jingle of the ice cream truck drifting through the warm air. It was the sound of metal. A sharp, cold click as handcuffs snapped open. She didn't fully understand what that sound meant, but she knew, instinctively, that something about it was wrong. Because those cuffs were in a police officer's hand, and they were being aimed at her father. Her tiny fingers wrapped tighter around Daniel Carter's wrist. Fear, confusion, instinct, all colliding at once. "Daddy, why is he doing that?" Daniel didn't answer immediately. He couldn't. He was still trying to wrap his mind around how an ordinary, peaceful Saturday had unraveled so fast. 10 minutes ago, they were tossing crumbs to ducks by the lake. 5 minutes ago, they were laughing about spilled lemonade. Now a patrol car hummed behind them. A uniformed officer stood in front of them, and accusations were already hanging in the air. Heavy, ugly, unfounded. Dear viewer, before we get started, let us know where you're watching from in the comments. Daniel kept his hands visible, palms open, something he'd learned to do long before fatherhood ever entered the picture. "Officer," he said evenly, steady despite the tension tightening his chest, "what exactly is this about?" "Oh." The officer didn't respond to the question. Not really. His eyes were fixed on Sophie first, blonde hair, green eyes, freckles dusted across her cheeks. Then they shifted back to Daniel, dark skin, broad frame, protective posture. In the officer's mind, the contrast had already written a story. No verification required. "Whose child is that?" he demanded. Daniel blinked once. Calm. Controlled. "She's mine." The officer's face didn't soften. If anything, it grew more rigid. "Yours?" he repeated slowly. "Yes." Sophie tightened her grip. Children feel tension before adults even name it. The officer stepped closer. Too close. "So where'd you get her from?" Daniel frowned. "Excuse me." "You heard me." The officer snapped. "Where did you get the kid?" The word kid didn't sound neutral. It sounded like evidence. Like theft. Daniel inhaled carefully, forcing patience into his tone. "She's my daughter." The officer let out a short, humorless laugh. "I doubt that." Around them, people were beginning to notice. Phones started to lift, not dramatically, just subtly, but enough to signal that this didn't feel routine. This felt like escalation. Daniel stood firm. "You're mistaken. Her name is Sophie Carter. I'm her father." Now the officer began circling them slowly, scanning Daniel like he was inspecting a suspect instead of a parent. "Sophie Carter, huh?" he muttered. Suddenly, he crouched down to Sophie's height. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Sophie," she whispered. "Sophie what?" "Carter." The officer nodded, but suspicion never left his face. He stood again, eyes traveling over Daniel like he was trying to find the flaw in the story. "You got ID?" "Yes." "Let me see it." Daniel moved slowly, carefully reaching into his pocket. "Don't reach for anything," the officer barked, his hand drifting toward his holster. Daniel froze mid-motion, then exaggerated every movement, pulling out his wallet inch by inch before handing over his license. The officer examined it. Then Sophie. Then Daniel again. The last names matched. It didn't matter. "You got proof?" he pressed. "Proof of